What's going on YouTube? It's your favorite weeb ninja, AmaterasuNinja, and we're back with another anime analysis video where we review animes as they come out, episode by episode, once they air, and we do a little mini review, and you decide basically if it's worth watching or not, and most likely you're going to be watching this one because it is JUJUTSU Kaisen and it's really hyped, but we're going to be postponing My Happy Marriage till Friday, mostly because I gotta get JUJUTSU Kaisen and Rurouni Kenshin out, as My Happy Marriage isn't so much hyped right now, but again, it's a filthy pleasure of mine, or guilty pleasure, I should say, not filthy. But sadly, I have been postponed because the anime website that I watch it on was delayed when it came out. So sadly, yeah, again, it's gonna be postponed. With that being said, let's just get into it. Alright, once again, we start off from where we left off in the last episode, in episode 3, where Rico basically is shot in the head and is basically offed. And essentially, the battle commences between Gero and Toji. Toji shooting, of course, still having that gat in hand. He got that thing. Basically ends up shooting towards Gero as he basically summoned his dragon and is basically grabbing him and whisked him away. Gero again blocking the curse, using his curse to block the bullets. Toji explains how he has no curse technique, which is why he's basically hard to sense, and they don't know exactly where it's coming from and whatnot. And essentially, he basically nicknamed himself the Invisible Man. Toji does have a cursed spirit with him, which obviously that's how he gets his weapons out. He himself doesn't have any curse technique, again, which is why he's basically dubbed the Invisible Man, because they can't sense him. He stores basically the spirit within him, and again, it basically nullifies like the effect that the Jujutsu sorcerers can detect them from, since he has a curse inside of his stomach. After dodging projectiles thrown at him in this beautiful scene, again, basically Gero is just throwing a bunch of curses at him, which are blue, which obviously makes for a great fucking visual. Then again, he summons the dragon, which goes at him and tries to bite him or attack him, and he ends up slicing the dragon in two, which from the side, which is fucking awesome. And basically, he explains that the rainbow dragon basically has the toughest hide, which is immensely weird how he's able to cut it. And my assumption is the weapon that he has obviously has an effect that basically nullifies all techniques, which is why he was able to cut down Gojo in the last episode. And at this point, it's not a spoiler, come on, we all know what happened last episode. Shortly after, basically after being cut down by Toji, ends up falling on the structure that they are, which is basically this little hallway that they're in. And essentially, the whole hallway that they're in ends up free falling, to which Gojo basically opens his domain expansion, where essentially he conjures, or basically makes an illusion similar to Sasuke, where he makes an apparition appear, which is like a Japanese folklore or demon that they talk about. I don't know if you ever heard about this tale in particular. It's basically a woman that goes out in the street and she has a slit mouth, and she basically asks you if she thinks you're pretty, and if you answer at all, whether you say she's beautiful or ugly, essentially she ends up attacking you and killing you, and slices you up. Toji, again being the badass that he is, he's just like, okay, fine. If you want me to be honest, again, him responding to the apparition, he basically says, "You're not my type." Immediately after, it's shown that he cuts a tiny portion of his hair, slices the back of his ear, and apparently, like, he just, he flexes on him super hard, and he just cuts up all the surrounding blades that the apparition basically conjures up or makes up. You see a picture, and hopefully you guys understand what I mean. And I guess he kind of just breaks through the domain expansion, to which Gero is there standing behind him, and he tries to steal the curse technique that Toji sorry, I'm getting the names confused. Toji ends up, wielding, so that he can basically stop the amount of weaponry that he has. It's basically his arsenal, because essentially the cursed demon that he has, basically he swallows all the instruments or any weapons that he can have, even people, honestly, as you'll see later. Well, actually, I don't think I have a picture of that, but essentially that demon basically carries everything inside his stomach, and then he carries that demon inside of his stomach. So funny how that works. Anyways, Geto tries to steal Toji's curse using curse manipulation, where he can essentially he just takes over other curses, and he can later on wield them for himself in any form he wants. Yeah, but he fails to do so and ends up getting cut down by Toji, of course. The building structure finally ends up hitting the ground after free falling. Toji essentially kicks Geto on the face and as he's down, and basically says, "You were beaten by a monkey who can't even use curse techniques." And essentially I think that's where Geto gets it in season 1. He basically called himself a monkey, right? And then, as if you've even seen JUJUTSU Kaisen 0, Geto essentially just calls humans monkeys. So I'm guessing Toji has a part to play in that, but we'll see later on. Immediately after, Toji basically gets a vision of Izumi Fushiguro, which again is a character that we see in the first season. And at this point, we don't know exactly why he has visions of him, or why he's thinking of him. Essentially, I mean, at first I thought he was basically his younger brother, but we'll see later on what the true meaning of that is in the end of the episode. But I'm not gonna reveal that yet, so let's just hold on. So essentially, immediately after, they have a meeting with the founder of the Star Religious Group, which is the one who basically set out the bounty on, well, not the bounty on Rico, but they wanted Rico dead, which then led to Toji setting on the bounty so they can again weaken Gojo, which I explained in the last video, so check that out on episode 3. And it basically shows him delivering the corpse to the founder of the Star Religious Group. After the group leader that contracted him gives him an exposition dump, which I'm not going to get into, about his plans of why they needed Rico dead so he wouldn't merge with Tengen. He then later walks off the room, to which Toji basically signals to his partner that he's crazy, which you'll see a picture of, and seemingly the meeting's over, and I guess Toji goes out to do what Toji does. I guess maybe he's going home or whatever, and then Gojo, the god himself, appears and basically explains how he used the reverse curse technique, and goes further into detail how he used the negative curse energy, which enhances your body, and he manipulated it in a way to, I guess he turned it into positive curse energy, and essentially that regenerated his body back together, and essentially it's implied that someone else can do it, as he was basically trying to teach Gojo how to use it, but he couldn't grasp the understanding of how to. That is until he was close to death, right? And Toji observing Gojo basically explains that he's high out of his mind. I'm assuming that's because of the adrenaline in his body, and basically him being alive again. And he basically explains the techniques which he has, which is limitless technique to stop anything surrounding him, so that he'll have like a permanent barrier around him. Obviously you can't attack them with like physical attacks or any other weapons, only being able to because of the special weapon that he had. Again, the power to attract, which is his blue power, and the power to repel, which is the red. And Gojo basically reaching a state of nirvana, which again, this is my interpretation. He basically reaches a state of nirvana or duality, and which is blue and red, which is positive and negative, or the middle way, which is basically explained in Naruto, or if you haven't seen Hell's Paradise, which is Tao. And basically he depicts as like having his fingers in such a way which is kind of representative of heaven and hell, or as above so below, as you'll see, like a Baphomet type of thing, Well, that's immediately what came to my mind. And you know, Naruto, him having the six paths ability, which is basically you're able to imagine again. He has a technique that's called imaginary technique purple, which is a new ability that Gojo unlocks. And again, Naruto, he has the ability to manifest things, which is how he brought Kakashi's eye back to life. And because he's able to use positive chakra, which is negative chakra, is actually has to do with like in the world, like how the Naruto clan is able to manipulate their shadows, and essentially the positive would be like imaginary, and then bringing that into fruition or in the physical world. And that's basically how it works. A little side note there. And again, him unlocking his purple ability obliterates Toji again, which is called the imaginary technique purple, and essentially obliterates his body into obliterating his torso, left side of his torso, his stomach, and basically blowing the walls behind him. Toji last words to Gojo is essentially that he has a son and he named him Izumi, and he's gonna be sold into some clan, to which again we know that story from season 1. And after the credits, Gojo carries out Rico's body out of the religious star group's facility and proposes to Gero that they should probably kill all of them, as the way he is now, obviously him having power and all this stuff, he probably won't even feel a thing if he does kill them. And Gero essentially refuses, saying that there's no need for that, that essentially he gives like this exposition and explains like, you know, that's not how sorcerers should act, right? Like they should have like some boundaries and stuff. And essentially this is a beautiful shot where it basically shows Gero as the good, symbolized by the blue, and Gojo as bad, symbolized by red. Or it could be vice versa. It could be that's just my interpretation. Of course, with the response that Gero gives him, like saying nah, they shouldn't kill him, and Gojo saying that they should. But it's kind of hard to tell because, you know, in Japanese and Chinese lore, it's kind of like the opposite. Like where in multiple animes and cartoons, just name one off the top of my head, is like Airbender. I know it's not anime, it's cartoon, but you know it's based in like Eastern philosophy, right? Or Western? Well, no, Eastern, yeah. And essentially in that anime or cartoon, blue is shown as evil, and there's a bunch of more examples of course, right? I just can't think of it right now, but blue is essentially shown as the evil side, and red is shown as the good, yeah, and blue is evil. And you know, so it's kind of hard to tell, but that's just my interpretation of it. So I think Gero might be shown as good, or implied good, and Gojo as bad. But anyways, that's the end of the episode. And yeah, I mean, just let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think about this episode? If you guys were hyped as I was watching this episode, that shit was crazy, to be honest with you. And I just, you know, I had to review it, and it's kind of hard. These videos are hard. Like I said, I'm doing this on PS4, so just give me some breaks here. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And you know, I spent this whole time just trying to think of ideas and trying to read more in between the lines, as a lot of people that I know and I see talk about stuff on the internet don't really delve deep into these Eastern philosophies and stuff as much as I do. Or, you know, again, just read between the lines, because I think Gojo is basically choosing the middle path, and that's just the way I believe my life works. Like how I try to live my life is choosing the middle path. You have to have some hate or anger, and obviously be calm and at peace. And again, it's just specified more in those two animes that I've shown, which is Naruto and specifically Hell's Paradise. If you haven't watched that yet, go give it a try. And you know, I just try to live my life that way. Like there's a middle path that you can choose. You know, you don't always have to choose right or left, like right or wrong. Like there's always a middle way of doing things. Like, you know, be aggressive when you have to be, and be calm and quiet, as that's mainly how I choose my life. Like only having to be aggressive when I need to be. And again, I'm just rambling on at this point, but that's basically the end of the video. I had I had something thought out about this, but I can't really get it out. as you know, that was quite a while ago. But anyways, again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the noti bell so you don't miss the next video, and hope you guys enjoyed. See you on the next video. Follow me on Twitch, AmaterasuNinja, same name as this channel. And with that being said, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace out. Deuces.